Hello, my name is Kalita and I'm here today with ESL Universe to help you learn when you need to use the article the. Articles are one of the more challenging aspects of learning English, and even though they appear to be small words, they are one of the biggest and most frequent mistakes made by English language learners. A couple of months ago, I introduced you to articles as we learned the indefinite articles a and an. At the time, I explained that there are only two types of articles, indefinite and definite. As a quick review of articles, they are considered to be a type of adjective, so don't forget that we expect them to be used before nouns or noun equivalents. Articles are always used before any other modifiers or adjectives before a noun. In other words, they have to come first. There are three articles, a, an, and the. They are required in English, so we can't just ignore them, even though they may seem to be insignificant. Today we will be learning about the one and only definite article, the. This is an extremely important word to understand because it is actually the most frequently used word in the English language. As you may guess from the word definite, definite articles are used only when we are referring to a specific or particular noun, or, in other words, if the reader or listener already knows the identity of a noun. For example, if I say, I can see the bird, I am talking about a specific bird that I see, probably one that we've already been talking about. However, if I say, I can see a bird, I mean that I can simply see any bird, not a specific one. Unlike indefinite articles, definite articles come before both singular and plural nouns, as well as before both count nouns and non-count nouns. But what does that really mean? Let's start by looking at what singular and plural nouns are. A singular noun is another way of saying that there is only one of something. For example, one cat. The word plural is just another way of saying that there is more than one of something. For example, two cats. Please take note that no matter how many of something there are, as long as there is more than one, it is always considered plural. This means that grammatically we treat a plural noun the same way for two of something or for 1,000 of something. Since we use the definite article for both singular and plural nouns, it really doesn't matter how many of something there is. As long as we know the specific noun that is being talked about, we need to use the word the. For example, I see the cat, or I see the cats. Next, let's discuss count nouns versus non-count nouns. These terms refer to if something is countable, which essentially means, is it realistic that someone would be able to count them? For example, I can count how many cats are in a picture. I can also count toys, books, people, houses, and cars. In fact, there are a lot of things that I can count. However, if we are speaking about things generally, there are also a lot of things that I can't count. For example, water. I use the word water in the same way if it is in a cup or in the ocean, even though the amount is clearly different. This is because there is no easy way to count how much there is. Other non-count nouns are things like sand, research, travel, or knowledge. The word the can be used for both count and non-count nouns. So we could hear a sentence like, he is playing with the toys, or he is playing in the sand. Keep in mind that the important part of reviewing these grammatical terms was simply to understand that the word can be used for singular and plural nouns that are both countable and not countable. This may make it seem like the word the is used with every noun, so let's learn a bit more about definite articles. If you remember back to my introduction of the word the, I said that it is used when the reader or listener knows the identity of the noun. But what does that mean? We need to use the article the when the noun being spoken about has previously been mentioned. For example, I may be telling you about a boy that I met last night. Once I have said something about the boy for the first time, from then on I need to use the article the instead of a, because now you already know which boy I'm talking about, the one that I met the night before. This clarifies the identity of the boy so that you, the reader or listener, now know that I'm still talking about that boy and not a different one. We also need to use the definite article the when there is a phrase, clause, or adjective that clarifies the identity of the noun in the sentence itself. For example, if I say, "Thank you for the discussion we had last night," I need to use the word the because I have already clarified in the same sentence that I am specifically talking about a certain discussion. Finally, we need to use the definite article the when a noun is referring to a specific or unique thing or person, essentially when there is only one of something. For example, there is only one sun, so we would always say the sun instead of a sun. You may notice that this is why we have to use the word the when we use superlative adjectives. For example, go to the biggest house on the street. In this case, we have to use the word the because there is only one of the thing we are talking about in that context. In each of these three situations, we are talking about something specific or that is already known by the person reading or listening. This is what I mean when I say that the is used when the reader or listener already knows the identity of the noun. Let's look at some more examples. The sun is the biggest star in the solar system. I really liked the band that played at the concert last night. The weather has been so unpredictable lately. I went for a run last night. It was the best run I've had in a long time. I love the ocean. Keep in mind that the article the can be replaced by a possessive word in a sentence. For example, his, my, or Lily's. For example, the girl is in the room can be changed to be the girl is in her room. It is grammatically incorrect to use a possessive word as well as an article at the same time. So make sure that you don't try to add in extra articles where they don't belong. In our next video, we will talk about some more specific situations that require the word the to help us understand this article a bit more. In the meantime, try to pay attention this week to when you hear the word the being used in a native English speaker's speech. Listening carefully to properly formed sentences is one of the best ways to help us improve our own sentences. See you again next time on ESL Universe.